What's going on, guys? Last night's WWE Monday Night Raw edition, September 15th, 2014. Hopefully you guys came on here before the show and checked out the Raw preview. Capped up some things for the go-home show for this Sunday's pay-per-view Night of Champions. So as you see on your screen, the challenge between John Cena and Brock Lesnar, just 6 days away from the pay-per-view, happened. They brawled down, but we'll talk about that in a little while. But let's jump right into the results. The show began with John Cena threatening to beat up Paul Heyman if the champion Brock Lesnar doesn't show up by halftime. He then gave Paul Heyman a headlock, grabbed him in a headlock, dragged him backstage, tossed him in a dressing room, and got the Great Khali to stand by the door, making sure Paul Heyman doesn't try to escape, doesn't try to leave, doesn't get in contact with Brock, just something like that. The first match of the evening was Chris Jericho versus Kane. Pretty solid match. Chris Jericho defeated Kane. Kane tried to throw Chris Jericho into an exposed turnbuckle, but Jericho reversed it and sent Kane into it and then rolled him up for the win. So Chris Jericho defeated Kane. They both seemed pretty brutal, pretty beaten up after the match. It was a pretty solid match, so nothing to complain about. Chris Jericho versus Kane, it was actually pretty solid. Jack Swagger defeated Bo Dallas with the Patriot Lock. Now, I believe this is Bo Dallas' second career loss in the WWE. Jack Swagger's been on a huge losing streak as of late, so it was pretty good to see him pick up that win once again. Huge Divas tag team match that I talked about in the preview. Paige and Nikki Bella defeated AJ and Brie Bella. AJ didn't even get tagged in the match. Brie and Nikki started off right away. Nikki tried to tag Paige in. She tagged Paige in right as Brie was about to attack her sister. And so Paige pretty much just dominated Brie the whole match. Brie tried to get a tag on AJ towards the end of the match, but Nikki pulled AJ off the ring apron onto the ground, so Brie Bella had no one to tag in, so Paige hit her finisher and picked up the win. So Paige hit Brie with the Rampaige to get the pinfall victory, and after the match, Paige and AJ got backed up, and they skipped around, and AJ was skipping around at the exact time Paige was. Paige would stop, AJ would stop, so the mind games between AJ going into the Triple Threat Divas Championship match this Sunday at the pay-per-view. Why isn't Brie Bella involved? I have no idea, but I guess we'll see. Most likely Brie will get involved, but that's time for another video in the Night of Champions pay-per-view predictions a little bit later in the week. Big Show defeated Bray Wyatt. Big Show won by disqualification when Luke Harper interfered as Big Show was seeming to get the 3 count. So after the match, Big Show chokeslammed, a double chokeslam to Erick Rowan and Luke Harper. And Bray Wyatt ran back, retrieved, and sat on the rocking chair and laughed. So it appears as if this is a new feud between Big Show and Bray Wyatt, so we will see what happens next. Sheamus and the Usos defeated Goldust, Stardust, and Cesaro in a 6-man tag match. Pretty good finish as they all hit their finishers. It was a pretty crazy, tons of action ending. But Jey Uso pinned Cesaro with his Superfly splash to get the 1-2-3. So a great 6-man tag match as Stardust and Goldust will go up against the Usos this Sunday for the WWE Tag Team Championship. It was halftime, so John Cena dragged Heyman out to the ring, out of the locker room, to beat him up for Brock Lesnar not showing up. Paul Heyman avoided being beaten up by convincing John Cena that if he assaulted him, he'd be falling right into Heyman's vision as a Paul Heyman guy, trying to get him to attack, get him angry, and stuff like that. Cena then decided not to hurt Paul Heyman at all, but Paul Heyman said John Cena didn't have any balls to do anything, and that got Cena wild up. Cena shoved him out of the ring, and that brought out the beast incarnate Brock Lesnar. The music hit. It looked like nothing was happening. John Cena was telling him to get in the ring. Usually, between any feud, they tell him to get in the ring. They have a pay-per-view match that Sunday. They tell him to come in the ring. They tease it and then walk away every time. So I thought that's how it was going to be. But Lesnar got in the ring with Cena. He walked away at first and then came back, dropped Cena with a German suplex like he did at SummerSlam multiple times. but Cena ran back into the ring and attacked Brock Lesnar, picked him up, started punching him, and the two brawled outside of the ring, John Cena getting the upper hand until security ran out and pulled them apart. So John Cena gets the upper hand going into this Sunday's pay-per-view Night of Champions. I thought Brock Lesnar was going to get the upper hand because of the German suplex to John Cena that caused him to fall outside of the ring. Brock Lesnar was like celebrating. Paul Heyman was holding the belts up, Brock Lesnar standing tall, and John Cena came back into the ring and attacked Brock Lesnar. So Cena, like I mentioned, gets the upper hand for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match this Sunday. Naomi defeated Cameron. Naomi won by submission when Cameron tapped out, and pretty quick match. Dolph Ziggler and R-Truth. Ziggler defeated The Miz and Damien Mizdow, as Ziggler pinned The Miz after a zigzag, just hyping up their match as well for Sunday's pay-per-view for the IC title. Roman Reigns defeated Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns won with a spear. Speaking of Night of Champions, this is actually a match for Night of Champions. I don't know why they had it on Raw, but Roman Reigns defeated him. Now, for Night of Champions, since that match happened last night, I don't know. I think Dean Ambrose is going to come down to the ring like crazy before the match begins, and then that leads to Kane coming out, and then it leading to be a Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus Kane and Seth Rollins match, just because they had their one-on-one Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins match last night. Now, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. I'm about 75-80% sure that will happen. I haven't read that anywhere, but that's just what makes sense to me. But we shall see what happens, so stay tuned for the predictions a little bit later in the week. I should be able to mention what I just mentioned there as well, so we will see. The main event, Mark Henry rallied America. Lana and Rusev interrupted. Henry tried to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, but Rusev came down to the ring and attacked him. Henry fought his way out of the accolades somehow and just attacked Rusev, and then America stood tall. Mark Henry stood tall going into their match this Sunday, Rusev versus Mark Henry. I honestly thought Rusev was just going to destroy him, like he's pretty much destroyed Jack Swagger and everyone who else tried to get in his way, but Mark Henry got the upper hand. I don't know if Mark Henry will be winning. Too early to tell right now, but once again, stay tuned a little bit later this week for the Night of Champions pay-per-view predictions. And yeah, so Mark Henry was the main event. I have no idea why. Maybe they didn't want people, I don't know, maybe all they wanted to do was get the, I don't know, I honestly don't know, but nonetheless, WWE Night of Champions pay-per-view this Sunday live on the WWE Network. So stay tuned, guys. Much more. Articles, news, results, pay-per-view previews, and predictions.